What if I told you that in ancient Japan, a single thread of fabric could decide life, death, and power? The kimono. The story of the kimono begins more than 12 centuries ago in the Heian period of Japan, 794 to 1185. It was the age when the imperial court moved to Kyoto under Emperor Kanmu, and life in Japan shifted toward refinement, poetry, and art. Aristocrats lived surrounded by gardens and temples, composing verses beneath cherry blossoms. And in this setting, clothing became more than protection. It became a mirror of society, a visible code that told others who you were. The word kimono simply means thing to wear. At first, it referred to any kind of clothing. But by the Heian period, robes had become highly structured, layered, and symbolic. The most magnificent of all was the junihito, or 12-layer robe. These garments could weigh more than 20 kilograms, and only court ladies of the highest rank could wear them. Imagine the scene. Noble women seated on tatami, unable to move freely because of the heavy silks, yet radiating beauty and power. Each layer's color was chosen with precision. Pale greens for spring, deep browns for autumn, white and crimson for winter. A lady's appearance was not about personal taste, but about expressing the season, the moment, and her place in the hierarchy. In these early centuries, Japan was shaping an identity distinct from China, and the kimono became a central part of that identity. Clothing was art, poetry, and politics, stitched into fabric. To see a noblewoman walking through the palace was to read a moving painting, a silent text made of silk. As centuries passed, styles changed. By the Kamakura period, 1185 to 1333, power shifted from the court to the warrior class, the samurai. With warfare and discipline at the heart of society, robes became more practical. The kosode, meaning small sleeves, appeared. It began as an undergarment, but gradually took the place of outer robes. Unlike the 12-layered junihito, the kosode was simple, functional, and easier to wear. Yet simplicity did not mean insignificance. For the samurai, kosode and kimono carried the family crest, dyed boldly on the back, marking allegiance and honor. The sword showed strength, but the kimono displayed identity. During the Muromachi period, 1336 to 1573, this transformation continued. Kimono designs became more decorative, patterns larger and bolder. Trade introduced new silks and dyes. The garment had firmly become the national dress, worn by men, women, nobles, warriors, and commoners alike, though always with distinctions of quality and detail. But it was in the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, that the kimono reached its golden age. Under the Tokugawa shogunate, Japan enjoyed peace for over 200 years. With peace came prosperity, and with prosperity, fashion. For the first time, townspeople, merchants, artisans, entertainers influenced style. Kabuki actors set trends. Courtesans became icons of beauty. The kimono was no longer confined to palaces. It walked the busy streets of Edo, Osaka, and Kyoto, alive with color and movement. Ukiyo-e artists like Kitagawa Utamaro and Utagawa Hiroshige immortalized these fashions in woodblock prints. Their images of actors, courtesans, and everyday people in elaborate robes spread across Japan and even reached Europe, inspiring Western painters like Monet and Van Gogh centuries later. The kimono had become not only clothing, but a symbol of culture itself. Yet beauty was never without control. The Tokugawa shogunate introduced sumptuary laws, strict rules about who could wear what. Colors, fabrics, and patterns were carefully restricted. Purple dye, made from the rare Gromwell plant, was so expensive and difficult to produce that it became a color of authority. Only the highest ranks could wear it. To appear in public with a forbidden shade of purple, or with embroidery of dragons and gold reserved for the elite, could bring punishment. Status was visible in every fold of silk. A merchant might be wealthy, but the law forced him into restraint. Plain kimonos on the outside, while secretly lining them with luxurious silks inside. The kimono was not just fashion. It was aspiration, restriction, and sometimes rebellion. Every detail carried meaning. The obi, the wide sash tied around the waist, evolved into a statement of its own. Its knots were complex and symbolic. Geishas wore long trailing obis that marked their profession. Married women tied theirs differently from young girls. To dress in a kimono was rarely a solitary act. It required the help of others, often family or attendants, making dressing itself a ritual of intimacy and trust. Beyond symbolism, kimonos also expressed a philosophy of nature. Designs reflected the seasons: cherry blossoms for spring, waves for summer, maples for autumn, cranes for winter. Wearing a kimono meant aligning your body with the cycle of the year. A woman walking through Edo in patterned silk carried not only fashion, but a living calendar on her back. As the Edo period gave way to the Meiji era, 1868 to 1912, everything changed. Japan opened to the West. Men adopted suits and military uniforms. Women experimented with dresses and corsets. The government even encouraged Western clothing as a sign of progress. For a moment, it seemed the kimono might vanish into history, but tradition proved stronger. The kimono retreated from daily life, yet survived in rituals and celebrations. Weddings, tea ceremonies, festivals, these became the spaces where silk still carried its ancient messages. A bride in shimmering white echoed centuries of purity. A geisha pouring tea recalled 1,000 gestures performed before. The kimono adapted, but it never disappeared. In the 20th century, the kimono became a bridge between past and present. Designers experimented with new fabrics, modern cuts, and international runways. Yet the essence remained the same. The straight lines, the folded sleeves, the tie of the obi. Today, in modern Tokyo, amid neon lights and crowded trains, a single figure in kimono turns the street into a time machine. For a moment, history walks again. The kimono is not only Japan's most iconic garment, it is a living archive. It remembers emperors and courtesans, warriors and merchants, laws and rebellions. It holds the weight of 12-layered robes and the whisper of seasonal blossoms. Passed from grandmother to granddaughter, from master to apprentice, it carries memory in every stitch. More than clothing, the kimono is Japan itself, woven across centuries.